Hey guys, James here. I want to talk about a topic which has had much debate over the years. So, squatting and deadlifting within the first few years of your weightlifting career or bodybuilding career. Is it good? Now, and what did I do? So, quick thing I want to talk about is you'll often hear of bodybuilders and people that have been lifting for a while. They get people involved with bodybuilding, they get them to do the compound exercises, right? I'll get them to do, like, the squat, the deadlift, the bench, the military press, that sort of thing. Now, is that good? Depends. Now, earlier in my development, I was told that obviously that deadlift and squat are the most, are the exercises that are at most at high risk. Right, if even done correctly, they promote a lot of muscle activation in all areas of the body. That's what they call compound movements. But squat and deadlift, especially, you're in a very, very vulnerable position potentially, and also your ego can get in the way. So, when I first started lifting at 13, 14 should I say, my dad told me, squatting and deadlifting. You've seen a lot of people damage the backs doing this. So I just took his advice and I didn't do any for 2.5, 3 years. Was it the right thing to do? Completely 100% agree. 13, 14-year-old deadlifting, squatting. I don't care how mature excuse me. I don't care how mature you are for your age, because I was quite mature for my age then. You still want to lift loads of weight, and even if you lift in good form, there is something going to go, especially at that young age. I still benched, and I still deadlift, and I still bench press, I still military pressed. I still dumbbell row, barbell row, T-bar row, and I still did all that, but I didn't deadlift and I didn't squat. And I'd completely do it again. I'd start off the exact same way as I did before, because I'll tell you for why. Squatting and deadlifting is very dangerous, very, very dangerous, especially if you're not getting coached by a professional, and if you are young and you are still growing. Now, would I have grown quicker doing squats and deadlifts? Probably, yeah. Would I have got injured? I might have done. I'm not saying yes I would have, but I might have done. The chances would have increased significantly. But with extra growth, I believe my waist would have grown with that. And squats and deadlifts do thicken your waist. They do, And I'm not saying you should never do squats and deadlifts, because obviously you should, and I do it on a weekly basis. But when you're 13, 14, 15, or if you've just started weightlifting, right? If your primary target is to build an aesthetic physique, the middle portion of your body should keep as small as possible, with your legs growing and with your shoulders growing. So you've got like an X-frame or a V shape, a V taper, right? So, yeah, you'll grow quicker doing squats and deadlifts, but your waist will thicken. So, for me, I would have started the exact same way if I had to do it all again. I wouldn't have done squats and deadlifts for the first 2 or 3 years of my development. I just would have done exactly the same, because I feel like it's created like quite a symmetrical, physique with a nice small waist. Now, obviously, it's genetics. Now, my waist would still. I don't want to be boastful or anything, guys, but my waist would always be smaller than the average, right? We all have good attributes, and we all have bad attributes, and one of those good attributes is my waist, smaller than average. My waist would still be smaller than average, but it wouldn't be as small as it was now if I would have deadlifted and squatted on a regular basis when I first started my development. Think about it. When do you make your most gains during training? It's within the first sort of 4 months, 6 months, a year, just say, within your training. So if you're putting your core under immense stress and it needs to get stronger quicker to meet the demands of the deadlift and the squat, then it will thicken. And I believe that the stress that you put under your body within the initial stage of training, it sets you up for what will occur during your it sets you up for your lifting and your aesthetic physique. The potential, not so much the potential, but I think, but I'm trying to say it just sets you up. Like it gives you a canvas, and I think yeah, and it's a bit of a funny one because you will grow, you know, quicker if you squat and deadlift, right? And you will gain more muscle, and they are fantastic exercises to build overall strength. So if that's your target, to build as much mass as quickly as possible, and not really think about, you know, keeping the waist small and keeping, you know, aesthetics, and not looking at the, you know, individual groups. You're trying to get bigger in general. Squat and deadlift are for you, but over the course of like a 5 or 10 or 15, 20, 25, 30 year career, if you can keep your waist as small as it physically can be, as genetically it can be, and then you can obviously increase your shoulder width by, you know, don't get me wrong, you can't change your bone structure, but you can, you know, get bigger shoulders and get bigger back and get bigger legs, which can create an illusion. So that's my opinion on it. You know, go take it how you want it, but that's my opinion on it. Hopefully I've given you some thoughts, and you can make your own decision. But you know, it's proven your core activation during these exercises, squats and deadlifts, are increased. You know, research does suggest that. So you will develop the core muscles, the abdominal muscles. So don't just take my word for it. Research does suggest this, and especially when doing those lifts, you often wear a belt, and wearing a belt promotes more muscle activation within the abdominal wall as well. So squats and deadlifts are really good. I just want to say this very quickly. Squats and deadlifts are a very good exercise. I'll probably do it every week, once a week, but you got to put your mind into different areas of your muscle. You don't just try and shift the weight. You lift it, right? You're not powerlifters. We're not lifting it from A to B. You know, they're very good at what they do, but bodybuilding is different, right? You're selecting different muscle groups, so try and focus. So, for example, deadlift. If you're training back, you know, perhaps do a rack pull. If you're training legs, perhaps do like a sumo, for example, or a half deadlift. And just be sensible with it, you know. So hopefully you've I'll conclude it again. So work towards your goals, guys. And just another topic I thought I'd like to share with you. Peace.